Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, then welcome. Tanchikia wa Mizumi. My name is Abigail, or Abby, Abigail Dishnikashun. I am Métis and autistic and love talking about autism stuff, so this is where I do that. And it is now July, so much for finishing the 30 days of autism acceptance prompts before the end of June. But it is what it is. Life happens, and oh boy, has my life ever been really something over the last few months. Just medical stuff, new job, adjusting to the new schedule with the new job. But yeah. Anyways, I'm here now, and I had a script. I forgot to save the script. My laptop restarted and deleted the script, so I have just been putting this off, and we're just gonna go through these last four prompts, kind of off the cuff. I'll do my best to answer them as truthfully to where I'm at in my life right now as possible, which is what I always try to do with these. And yeah, we're just gonna go for it. So, April 27th. Is making friends something that you find hard to do? When you make new friends, at what point do you usually tell them you're autistic? In what ways does being autistic affect your relationships, if at all? Making friends is something that I've always found hard to do, both as a kid and now as an adult. There are additional complications now as an adult on top of the regular scheduling issues that every adult struggles with. Just because I've had people who I thought were friends turn out to actually be abusers who are manipulating me. So now there's an extra little bit of paranoia there. At what point do I normally tell people I'm autistic? Well, after getting diagnosed and up until a few months ago, I was very open about the fact that I'm autistic, but due to recent events politically on both the Canadian side of the border and the US side, it's just seemed safer to not disclose that. So, normally I would mention I'm autistic pretty early on just so people understand, yeah, I'm weird, this is why. Nobody at my new job knows that I'm autistic. Or if they are aware, it's not because I've told them, they're just good radar for it. But to my knowledge, nobody knows. And it's probably gonna stay that way for quite a while. In what ways does being autistic affect my relationships, if at all? Communication. Communication is one of the things I struggle with most as an autistic person. And also because of the situation I was in for quite a while with being regularly gaslit by people who I thought were friends. So, communication for a variety of reasons. That affects relationships a lot because communication is really important. So, on that communication topic, moving on to April 28th, how difficult is it for you to read other people's tone of voice / facial expressions? Talk about situations where difficulty reading tone of voice / facial expressions made things harder for you. It is very difficult for me to read other people's tone of voice and facial expressions, in part because of the aforementioned regular gaslighting I was dealing with, and also just in general, I've always struggled with it. As for situations where it made things harder for me, basically my entire life. I am just always terrified that people are going to be mad at me, and I cannot pick up on whether or not they're mad at me quite a lot. And that one might be more trauma than autism, but the autism being undiagnosed is a contributing part of why I've got so much trauma that I realistically should be seeing a therapist for. But public system has years-long wait list, private system's too expensive, so I'm just working through it myself. Yeah, undiagnosed autism leads to trauma. Trauma leads to assuming people are always mad at me, and because of autism and being gaslit for years, and oops, the autism made me more susceptible to that. I am just constantly terrified everyone's mad at me, and I can't read tone of voice and facial expressions, so I'm just constantly tripping over myself trying to be a people pleaser, and if that doesn't make things harder for me, I don't know what would. Yeah, I just opened up to a whole can of worms of issues there. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm actually doing a lot better than I have in a long time right now, so it's fine. April 29th. How tactile of a person are you? Are you sensory seeking or sensory avoidant? Sorry about the squeaky chair. Okay, gonna try and actually get myself to sit still here. How tactile of a person are you? Are you sensory seeking or sensory avoidant? Do you enjoy getting hugs and other types of expressive contact, or do you avoid them? If the latter, have you had issues ever with people not respecting that you don't like it? I've always struggled with describing myself as either sensory seeking or sensory avoidant, because there are certain sensory things that I will seek out, and then there are other ones that I will avoid. So I just genuinely don't know. Like, it depends on the thing or the day, I guess. But skipping over that confusing bit that always gives me a headache, I do enjoy hugs and other types of expressive contact. They just generally make me feel better, but only if I know you. If I don't know you, do not touch me. If I'm very much in sensory overload, then also generally don't touch me unless I specifically say it's okay. As far as issues with people not respecting things, I've personally never run into that issue, and I am very grateful that I have not run into that issue, because if some stranger were to touch me, I would probably freak out. April 30th, Autistic Pride. How do you feel about being autistic? What does it mean to you? Is it something you take pride in? Have your feelings about being autistic changed since you first found out that you were autistic? And is there a final message that you would like to share for the end of Autism Acceptance Month? What would you like people to take away from this month? So this one is part of the reason I put this off for so long, because, like, as I mentioned, I have had a real heck of a time the last few months. Like, never mind have my feelings about being autistic changed since I first found out that I'm autistic. I have been super back and forth on it just since April. I was so deep into autistic burnout in April that, one, I'm lucky I didn't have to get hospitalized. Two, I actually thought I was going to have to go on disability. Very grateful that I managed to just get into a new job that is much better for me. I'm just doing simple repetitive tasks the whole day, and like, I don't know how else to describe it other than, like, it's like I died and came back to life is the difference between me now and how I was in April. Like, it was bad. I didn't realize how bad I was doing until I was out of it. But, like, yeah, so yeah, I'm not really sure where I'm at with my feelings around being autistic. Like, it is helping me to thrive at my new job just because of the type of work I'm doing. But like, I don't know. It's also a contributing factor to me not being in the thing that I went to school for to a degree. It's weird. I'm still in a bit of a weird spot around it. Like, I've been so back and forth about that sort of like final message type thing, like, because there has been so much going on autism related in the news and everything, and it's like, how do I sum it up? And like, instead of talking about all of that stuff, I guess bringing it back more personal, after my experience the last few months, I think it's like, just because someone appears to be high functioning doesn't necessarily mean that they are. Because I have been labeled as high functioning since I was a child. Like, I was actually misdiagnosed as a child because I was too high functioning to be autistic, but earlier this year, a lack of routine sent me into such severe burnout that it very nearly killed me. Like, when I say I'm lucky wasn't hospitalized, like, now I know it was actually panic attacks and not actually a heart condition, but I was having these episodes where I was like blacking out and my heart rate was really low. And that's actually kind of terrifying to think about. And that second I was in a new job with a more consistent routine, that all stopped. So like when we say that autism is like different for everyone, like it is different for everyone, and being in the right environment with the right supports can make all of the difference, like, matter of life and death. So yeah, I guess that's it for the prompts for this year. Got a little more personal than I meant to.